You're now listening to Sound Talent Media. Check out more shows at soundtalentmedia.com.
TIAA is on a mission. Why? Because 54% of Black Americans don't have enough savings to retire. So in collaboration with big-name artists like Wyclef Jean, TIAA released Paper Right, new music inspiring a new financial future. With 100% of streaming sales going to a nonprofit that teaches students how to invest. Stream Paper Right now and help close the gap.
What is up, good people? Welcome to another episode on this fine Friday. No, I haven't lost my mind. These are just extra episodes because I love you. I think you need them. I recorded this episode with Calder Allen at Fairwell Fest, which is a country music festival that happens in Redmond, Oregon. My wife and I went there this summer, and we had an absolute blast, and I was able to get in a couple interviews for you while I was there. I really enjoyed myself. Big shout out to Fairwell Fest for having me out. I really appreciate it. You guys were amazing. The festival was absolutely incredible, and if you can get out there, I highly suggest it. They haven't dropped the lineup yet this year, but I am so excited because last year it was absolutely killer, and I found a bunch of new artists, well, new to me artists that I really want to try to get on the show, as well as some that I did get on the show. So a small bit of explanation, because this is definitely different than a typical episode. I'm actually recording back in the artist lounge area, so there are some background sounds and things that you're probably not used to hearing on this podcast, or at least not for a very long time. So there's some of that going on. And also, this should have been out months ago. I thought that I actually had lost the files. They were kind of corrupted and doing some weird stuff, but I was able to get them recovered. Fortunately, I was so bummed, but I'm so excited that I actually get to release this. So this one is with Calder Allen. The other one was with Brooke and the Bluff, who is just one back in the feed. So if you want to hear that one, go back there and check it out. Calder is an incredible dude. He started writing songs fairly recently, which is incredibly impressive because they are very good. And we talk about how fly fishing ties into all of this. Yeah, fly fishing. Would you believe it? Anyway, let's get into this episode with Calder Allen. Let's go. Hello, everyone. This is Blake from the Tone Mob Podcast. I'm here at Fairwell Fest, and today I am talking to Calder Allen. How's it going, man?
Pretty good. How are you?
Pretty good. I caught your set yesterday. It was quite good. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah,
that was my first exposure to your music outside of a few little clips here and there. But usually when I'm talking to somebody new, I like to get their backstory to start, and we just kind of see where it goes from there. So
cool.
When did you get into music, guitar, and all that stuff?
Well, I got into guitar a little bit before COVID, but really started playing during the pandemic and kind of diving into it, with all the free time. So same thing with writing. I'd always written poems and, little short stories growing up as a kid, but actually songwriting and song arrangements kind of dove deep into that whole realm during COVID.
So this all started just in the last few years. That's really impressive to see you on a stage like this already. How did that start manifesting? Like, most people don't pick up a guitar and then 2 years later find themselves in this situation. How did that happen?
Yeah, well, my whole dad's side of the family is very musical, and, my uncle's even in my band, and he plays Bucka Allen, a little shout out. He plays
Nice.
keys. But yeah, my grandfather's a songwriter, my grandmother's a playwright, my dad plays drums. My brother, has records out and stuff like that. So from a very young age, I've been exposed to expression and, music and art, and kind of just divulged myself into the whole scene. As fell in love with it. Did you have a sense that you were kind of born for it since everybody else was doing it, or I don't know if born for it's the right word, because it's I'm trying to think of. I just kind of fell in love with the whole process. I didn't realize how much time I was spending practicing and, writing until it would, be like 4 a.m. and I'm like, oh God, so it was that whole thing. It kind of just consumed all my time. I had to do it.
Right. It's one of those things that,
there he is.
Who's that?
That's Billy Cassis over here waving at me.
Hello, Billy.
He plays guitar.
Nice.
Bucka, we were just talking about you.
Hey, if anyone wants to jump in too, they can.
Bucka, come here. We were just talking about you. What's up?
Hey, guys.
Hey, what's going on?
This is Bucka Allen.
How are you?
Hello, Buck. How you
What
doing?
a wonderful festival. Calder, it's good to see you. We just got booted off our flight, so we're back.
Oh.
A little food.
Yeah, I know, it's good. It's good.
All right.
Welcome back.
Yeah.
Well,
Good to be back.
good to see you in any sense.
Good to see you too. We had a wonderful show last night.
It was great.
Yeah, it was fun. Good deal.
Yeah. That's right. That's right.
Between
ferns.
two ferns. Oh.
I'll try to be slightly less awkward than Zach, but I can't make any guarantees on that for sure.
Exactly.
And for the listeners at home, I should probably say I did record here earlier, and it was slightly less people. So there's a little bit of ambient noise, as you've discovered, but I think the old SM58s will probably do us some favors.
Probably
in that
some
department.
direct, yeah.
Yeah, I think we'll be okay. So from that point, did you, obviously, like you play a lot of acoustic, you do a lot of songwriting. Did you start diving into the ever deepening world of the guitar gear world at all, the pedals and amps and all that stuff?
You know, I'm very, I try not to overcomplicate it. You know, when I'm performing, especially, my job as a singer-songwriter really is to focus on, making the song believable and, being honest with myself and as genuine as I can be. So the simpler, the better for me. So I try and keep it, I have a boost pedal for my electric, and the acoustic is just a straight DI line in.
Mm-hmm.
So very basic, gets the job done,
Right.
just kind of solid.
With the guitar, are you going straight into with all the modeling and stuff that's happened now, are you going straight in as well, or do you have a traditional amp setup?
I play with a Tele when I do go to electric, and I go through a Vox Night Train.
Of course, I love the Night Train.
It's awesome. It's small, but it does the thing it needs to do.
Mm-hmm.
It has a great gain on it, and And I'm also not the person that people should be listening to as far as advice on music gear. I'm just getting into it. I'm still figuring out what I like and what works for me. But that's kind of the whole thing I kind of think with it, is whatever works for you and whatever you think is.
Well, I mean, some of us get so, and by some of us I mean me, get so wrapped up into that side of things that sometimes it gets in the way. And I've had to refocus a few times over the years about, like, why did I fall in love with gear in the first place?
Yeah, it's to play music.
Right. It's
so
not just for the gear, right?
Exactly.
So it's a bit challenging. But the Night Train's actually really interesting because that was in the running for one of my first tube amps ever. I was basically between that and an orange Tiny Terror.
Nice.
And then both of my friends that were in the band each got a Tiny Terror and a Night Train. So I was like, well, I can't get that. Now what do I do? But I always loved the Night Train. It's a great little amp, and I think it's kind of underrated.
No, it's great.
Yeah.
I love it.
Do you know what kind of boost pedal you're using off the top of the head? Just because
I don't know
are
the exact
questions
model,
people
but it's a Prism. It's the brand's Prism.
It's a Jackson Audio Prism. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Oh boy,
There you go.
I know.
There you go.
I'm too deep into it. So when you're in the studio, does that change at all, or do you still try to keep it pretty basic?
I mean, studio for me, there's only been a few songs where I've tracked the electric guitar and, it's all rhythm stuff. I'm not trying to play leads yet or anything like that, but usually it's just, mic on a acoustic guitar and we build the tracks out from there, or if we're cutting it live, same thing, just like a microphone on a guitar, and it's, no line in.
Yeah. What studio were you recording in?
I've recorded a few studios, but the official records the first record was at Arlen Studios, and the second record that's coming out, hopefully either in the fall or next spring, is also at Arlen Studios. But, I've been in other studios and here and there, and, been in a lot of sessions, and, that's, trying to figure out that whole world of just different sounds and different places and stuff can consume a lifetime. So
yeah, absolutely.
I try and for me, I really try and focus on like the music and like trying to be present in the moment and not overcomplicate the tech and stuff. And
sure,
that's kind of my approach. But there's, you need everyone to do everything. So
absolutely.
You know what I mean? You need people to do their thing. It all is a collective.
It takes a village to make these things happen, much more than it may seem.
No doubt.
Yeah. So who do you draw inspiration from? Obviously, you've got a whole family to draw inspiration from, so that's helpful. But when you're sitting down, or even actually before you started picking up music yourself, who were you listening to get inspiration? Or if it wasn't listening, who were you reading? Because you mentioned you did poetry and some other things.
Yeah.
Where do you draw inspiration from?
All over the place. I mean, usually I can always find something wherever I am to kind of get in that headspace, whether it's even just, trying to be present. But as far as direct inspirations and stuff, I mean, I'm inspired by everyone in my band. I'm inspired by, my whole family and all of that whole realm. Specific names, I mean, I'm a big fly fisherman.
Okay.
And, when I was younger, I started watching these fly fishing films, and a lot of the soundtracks to those fly fishing films are, like folk, songwriting, acoustic stuff, bluegrass, what have you. So a lot of those types of bands, like Camp, Mountain Joy that just came through here. A lot of the bands playing this festival were big inspirations, and I've drawn from. And then there's the other people, it's like Townes Van Zandt, Guy Clark, Blaze Foley, the real, realm of like Southern songwriting and like really stripped down, serve the song bass type thing. One of my biggest inspirations is Charlie Sexton, who's produced, both projects that I'm been working on the past few years. And, seeing, the people I'm closest to that I have the most access to that I can really, divulge their information and like get into their own heads. That's kind of the easiest way for me to get inspired. And then of course there's songs that do that, Chris Whitley records and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
And of course, Tom Petty,
Yeah.
I mean,
You can't go wrong.
Yeah. But, the name thing gets weird because there's so much and there's so much information and there's so much room for a bunch of people to inspire you. And so it's really one of those things where it changes every month and it changes on what I'm listening to. And, the catalog gets bigger as far as inspirations.
Do you think there would anybody that people, upon listening to your record, do you think there's anyone that people would be surprised about? Like, oh, I'm a huge death metal fan or something like that. That's a little more off the wall.
That band called The Who, but with an HU?
Yeah. Yep.
They got cool records.
All right.
I like them.
I like them. They are cool. Yeah, they're the Mongolian kind of throat singing. Yeah, that stuff is intense. Yeah.
Yeah, that stuff. And then, each record was so different, but like really like the whole Chris Whitley catalog is super cool. As far as that, because it just goes, different. He's a true expressionist, but so many people, it's hard.
It is. It's like, what's your favorite band, man? Like,
it's like, I have no idea.
Yeah, good try. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a difficult question to answer, too. So when you're writing, though, do you pull from other places as well outside of music? Do you have other art that you really enjoy or really speaks to you?
Well, yeah, typically when I'm writing, all of those, so-called like inspirations and role models, they kind of leave my head. It's the only time really in my life that I'm, besides playing music, but just music in general and writing, where I'm sitting down, I'm completely present in the moment. And, where I draw from typically is, an indication of where I am. So whether it's outside and I just, I've been on the river all day or something like that, or whether it's, I've been driving for 12 hours and I'm just humming in the car, just different things I'm seeing, different lines, different things. And they just come from all over. And it's hard to kind of explain where they come from, because, some songs, they just, it's like, 15 minutes, you got a song. And then other songs, it's like, okay, I'm still working on songs I started like a year ago. So it's very, song oriented as far as what the song's going to give you.
Yeah. Sometimes
I never try and force it. I work hard to, try and come up with things, but, it has to be genuine. I have to really believe what I'm saying. And I'd really try and not make something happen that's I'm not, believing and or can relate to.
Sure. Yeah, it's one of those things. I totally understand what you mean, where the song comes out and then you stand back and go, huh, did I really do that? Was that me? And you have to wonder sometimes where that...
Here's one of my inspirations, Billy Cassis.
Oh,
You ain't coming? Oh, you're dehydrated?
All right. We'll let you off the hook this time. But yeah, so it feels like it almost comes from somewhere outside of yourself, and you're almost more of an antenna than or a conduit, so to speak, at times.
Maybe, I don't know. I don't know how to explain it.
Yeah. So as a fly fisherman, now I'm not one in particular, but I've been around a few in my day, and I hear them talk sometimes about, the place they go mentally when they're doing that. Do you find any similarities between the music world and when you're out there kind of doing your thing?
For me, it's, they're kind of the same mindset. Very different as far as like how I interact with them and what they mean for my personal life. But, for me, I don't think I would be able to write honest songs if I'm not being honest with my other passions and my other hobbies and, trying to fulfill all aspects of my life. So if I'm not fishing, it's, for months on end, it's usually a concerning time,
Sure.
As far as songwriting, and all that stuff, I think they're very intertwined.
Right. So in this time period, switching gears a little bit, because when you said if you don't get a chance to be fly fishing, have you had much experience? Obviously, you're here playing this show, but have you done much touring yet to where the fly fishing's had to take a back seat?
No, but I hope it will at some point. Yeah, I hope that does happen. But a lot of the dates have been one-offs or gigs booked up. One show a week, so I can drive to different states
Sure.
and fish in between. But
Yeah.
I really do think even if it was like a tour where it was show every day for months on end, I would figure out a way to get it.
You'd make
done.
it happen?
I'd make it happen.
Well, the good news is if you come to this area again, you've got plenty of opportunity
Exactly.
at the various rivers
no, I've been
around
fishing
here.
all over here.
So
it's
you already
amazing.
know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's
Where'd you go?
amazing. I went to the Methulias River, and tried to fish for some bull trout.
Same
and
stage you played on, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Uh-huh.
Exactly. And then East Lake, which is, I guess I don't know if it's south of Bend. See, that's where I don't want to get things wrong. I'm not going to act like I'm a local.
That's okay. Just names are fine.
Yeah,
Oh,
East Lake and Methulias River.
Yeah. Did you catch anything?
Yeah.
What'd you get?
Some, just brown trout and different species and
Nice.
stuff. Oh, yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, this is probably an extremely difficult question to ask, and maybe a better way to frame it would be, I was going to do the classic, where do you see yourself? But maybe versus where you see yourself, where would you like to go, say, in the next 3 to 5 years? What are your goals?
So for me, as long as I'm content and with the music that I'm putting out, and I think it's genuine to me, and I'm not having any, outward influences that are dishonest, I think that's all I can really ask for as far as music goes. I think the whole idea of growth in music is kind of weird because some people judge it by how many audience members do you have, or some
Right.
people judge, but for me, it's hard to judge it by that. It's more of a cerebral feeling for me than I love playing live, but playing live for me, sometimes it's based off the audience, but a lot of times it's based off just playing with my band and being able to play live music with them and, relax with them and do all that stuff. I'm kind of going on a rant here, but
That's fine. That's what podcasts are for.
exactly. But it is really that thing where as long as I'm being honest to myself and writing songs that I believe in and that, not even necessarily can relate to, because, sometimes I write songs from different perspectives and different, realms. But as long as I'm being honest to that and serving the song first, I'll be okay.
Yeah, I would agree with that. So I've got a couple classic questions, and again, being as new to guitar and not necessarily as gear heavy as some people, this first one might be a little out of your wheelhouse, but we'll
right.
go for it since it's a classic question anyway. So
All right.
that question would be, what is your favorite Boss pedal?
The tuner.
The tuner's like the most popular answer.
Yeah.
TU2, TU3.
The tuner.
It works. It always does the
Chromatic
thing,
tuner.
right?
Yes.
Yeah. Now this one's a little bit more intensive and a little more to it.
All right.
All right. And it has nothing to do with gear, but it is an
Bring
important
it.
question
Bring
regardless.
it.
What is your favorite kind of pizza?
Whoosh. Pepperoni.
Just straight up pepperoni?
Straight up.
Yeah.
Plain and simple. Consistency.
Thin crust, thick crust, favorite
Thin,
pizzeria, anything?
Thin
Yes.
crust. There's a place called the Pie Hole in Missoula, Montana. That's
Oh.
amazing.
The Pie Hole in Missoula, Montana.
It's pretty shout out. It's amazing.
I'm going to have to check that out. Missoula is not a town I've ever been to, but I've heard it's incredible.
It's pretty amazing.
You spent a lot of time there?
Well, I was going to go to college there. I did go to college there for a month and before I dropped out to do music. Sorry, Mom. But, yeah.
Hey, your mom's here. She must be
She
pretty
is here.
supportive
She's
of the
over
whole
there.
thing, right?
Yeah, whether she's lying or not. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, no, she's the best. She's been both my parents have been huge supporters of me pursuing this.
And I didn't expect to go here, but since you brought it up, Was that a difficult conversation to have with your family? Like, hey, I know I just got to Missoula for college, but
I mean, I don't. For me, they were very understanding, and my dad's a visual artist, and my mom's very, her whole career was education. She did a study abroad programs and stuff, so she gets different learning types and different, how people think and all that. And both my parents understand how I think, and it kind of just made sense. They kind of trusted me, and I'm very appreciative for it. But it wasn't a hard conversation. They were very supportive.
That's great. That's really great. Well, man, I'm super glad to have gotten to meet you, and
likewise.
It was a great show you guys put on, and I hope you have safe travels and enjoy the rest of your time in Oregon. How much longer are you here?
Well, thank you. We're going to leave Tuesday. I'm going to go fish tomorrow. And
oh,
then
sweet.
Yeah.
You're here for a while then.
Exactly.
Very nice. Where are you guys staying?
We're staying just down in Bend at a hotel.
I love Bend. It's one of my favorite towns.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Have fun while you're here.
I will.
All right, dude.
For sure.
Thank you for taking the time. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right.
Appreciate
All right,
it.
everybody. Good luck and good tones. Look, we got photos. Hey. Thank you, man.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, there you have it. There is my episode with Calder Allen. Make sure you go check him out on the interwebs wherever you get your music, and make sure that you start following Fairwell Fest because the lineup's going to drop pretty soon, I think. I don't know that for a fact. They haven't told me that, but it feels like it. I feel like the teasers are coming. I feel like it's about to happen. And if it's even half as good as it was last year, it's something you're not going to want to miss. So don't miss it. Go pay attention to what they're doing. Big shout out to Bailey at Fairwell Fest for having me out. Thank you so much again for everything you did. You really helped out a lot, and I appreciate it. And thank you again to everyone for listening and for hanging out. I really appreciate you. Thank you for everything you do, and I'll talk to you on the internet very, very soon. One last thing before we totally sign off here. I just want to remind you that if you do any shopping at Stringjoy, that's Stringjoy guitar strings made in Nashville, that will help me out as well. As I've said for years, I'm heavily involved in that company, and I really do think they're making the best products on the market. So if you would like to try custom strings, go to tonemob.com/stringjoy and check them out today. I seriously love what the team down there is doing. I help them out with all kinds of things, and by you supporting them, you are also supporting me as well. And hey, you need some strings, so why not get some custom strings just for your guitar and playing style? Again, the link for that is tonemob.com/stringjoy, and that will take you right to their website, and you can do all your shopping through there, and that will help everyone involved out. So thank you very much. Talk to you next time. We are brought to you by the wonderful folks at Gun Street Wiring Shop. Yes, Gun Street Wiring Shop. I've talked about them before. I used to say based out of Bend, Oregon, but guess what? Sean moved to my neck of the woods. Sean's in Portland. Sean is awesome and has helped me with a bunch of stuff lately. And if you have wiring needs for your guitar, he can help you too. If you want to get weird with it, he can get weird. If you just need to spruce things up a little bit, there's your guy. He takes all the guesswork out of doing your guitar wiring, and he makes it simple, and his customer service is top-notch, and I can't say enough good things about Gun Street as a company. I really respect Sean and what he's all about, and the product is top-notch. I've got 3 different guitars that now have Gun Street harnesses in them, and I could not be happier. So go to gunstreetwiringshop.com and check them out.
Hey, this is Aaron from No Simple Road. I'm inviting you to come hang out with Apple, Mel, and I as we talk with the musicians, artists, chefs, authors, and beyond from the world that turns us on. We're reaching into the improvisational music scene, the psychedelic culture, the festival world, and getting to know what makes the people tick that create those scenes. Come join us on the long, strange trip over at No Simple Road.
What's up, everyone? It's Joe, and I'm the host of That's Awesome with Joe, a podcast on the newly formed Sound Talent Media Podcast Network. I talk with tons of your favorite artists, managers, touring personnel, and more. Most of the time we talk about music, but lots of the time we end up talking about something completely unrelated. We laugh a lot. We do a lot of really stupid things, but also some things that are really informative and interesting. Basically, it's a podcast that I think you should listen to. Obviously, I'm biased because it's my podcast, but I think I might be into it if I wasn't the host. Check it out at soundtalentmedia.com.